My name is Haja Kamara, and I'm currently the Programs Director at the formerly incarcerated College Graduates Network. Our mission is to empower people that are in reentry through a collective community. When you've been to prison and you're also in a college program, I think of it as when I used to go to campus and see people studying in the library together, right? You need that community, right, to be able to get through some of these classes. So I think higher ed and prison programs fosters a sense of community, specifically for people that are in reentry. Being treated humanely in the education and prison pipeline was so different than what I experienced in the school to prison pipeline. I was incarcerated as a child, my junior year in high school, and was waived up to the adult court system. I spent about 5 years in the only women's prison in New Jersey at a main correctional facility. So we had to take classes if we didn't have our GED or high school diploma. And I was assigned an advisor. I was introduced to a professor at Rutgers University, Dr. Donald Roden. And he had this belief that people in prison deserved education, right? Post-secondary education. And asked me if I wanted to attend Rutgers University. And I wasn't the only one that was going to be attending Rutgers University. There were like 10 or 15 of us that were in this cohort. That was the beginning of my community, right? Like a fresh restart. Typically, when you come home from prison, you automatically assume when you get home, like, no, everyone's going to hate me, right? Like, my old friends, like, I wasn't hearing from these people. And here I am with like 15 other people that are like, hey, like, we have the same disposition, but we want to push through and get our degree. I needed people in my life that could model that behavior, right? So not just the successful lawyer and doctor that, you know, went to school straight through and had no issues and like now owns their own practice, but someone that had a few bumps in the road, right? I needed to see how they modeled not being accepted by the community, but still pushing through. And so community, for me, it means a lot because not only do we get to identify behaviors that we admire about other people in our community, but we also get to witness how people in our community make change, right, for others, right, and how we can make change for ourselves. After I graduated college, I was able to work as a program coordinator for the Rutgers Upward Bound program. From there, I learned how we could actually prevent people from going to prison through these youth initiatives, such as Upward Bound. I had went from being a student to now being employed by the university on a part-time basis, and their prison education program was starting to expand on the inside. And I think that came from people like myself being released and, to be honest, not having enough credits or college experience to be as successful as we hoped we'd be in our first year. So the prison education administrators, like, they started looking and saying, well, maybe if we started the college journey earlier while people are in prison and then like supported them through reentry, we'd be a little bit more successful. And then after I worked for the university, I shifted gears back to working inside of the prison because I understood that there were a lot of preparation tools that were missing from, you know, the higher education and prison experience, right? So through Upward Bound, I saw how students in high school are prepared for college. And I took that information and said, well, why are we not having the same level of preparation for people that are in prison, right? Even if we have like programs in colleges going into the prison, there's a certain level of preparation that is required for people to engage in post-secondary academics and to be successful in post-secondary academics. Because your vision of yourself while in prison, it can change once you've been released, right? In prison, you have access to the information that's provided to you. And based on the supports that we have, whether it's finances, whether it's housing, that's when we'll be able to determine, can I make my life happen in the ways in which I've imagined while I was in prison? Having people in my corner that were supporting me through the education pipeline, it showed me that as long as you have support and access to information, you'll be able to figure out what you want from life and maybe even pursue some of those dreams and goals that most of us have when we are young people before the world tells us who we are.